coming to you live from the largest British prison in the known universe. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
G'day and welcome to the 213th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. As every fucking week I'm Log Power Slave, and seriously, that's a big shout out. Matt's annoyed. Look, Matt's already got the shits because he just failed his clinch effort of Pit of Heresy, wanting to do that and trying to do that, knock that over before the start of the podcast. Just a big up to fucking Bill Gates for just literally scrambling my PC every time there's a fucking Windows update. That was what I spent my my morning doing. So, you know.
Why does that happen?
I don't know. Like, how the fuck hard is it just to remember how shit's assigned? Like, I live in genuine fear of that whenever I hear there's an update. Oh, fuck, I don't want to do it. I'll try and save it to do it on like a Tuesday or some shit. It's out of the way. Anyway,
on a
we're all here.
Serious note, how does it feel 100% being the worst Titan on the show?
Oh, look, you say this a lot. And you've got to look at yourself like you have a particular set of skills, and they are running content by yourself. Okay, so there's things that there's virtues in that, right? Patience is one.
Okay.
Patience is one.
Okay.
What else? I don't know. I guess prioritizing a few different things at once is also important, and learning strategies. Right. None of them matter to me at all. So, you can talk all you want, but until we get into PvP and you beat me, then
wait. So is this? Hold on a second. Are you saying if I beat you in PvP on a Titan, you'll acknowledge that I am the number one Titan in this podcast? After how many years of playing Titan, all it takes is me to beat you once in PvP.
Matt, I'll say this. I will never acknowledge that you are better than me at anything. What's your fucking doctorate in? I'll back myself to be better at that than you. That's where we're at. But it's fun and it's banter and whatever. Not that there's been any shortage of fucking banter this week with Guardian Games and literally everyone devolving into sledging the living shit out of each other. But
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. How's your emails going, mate?
I'll explain that because I've done one very smart thing this week and it pertains to that. But how's your week been? Let's do the quick wrap up before we get into the Destiny news. What's been going on in Matt world?
I'm I think week 3 since the PhD submission. So I finally just let it all go. Let it go. I'm not even thinking about it at all. And just had a great week of
just chilling.
Literally full-time content creator. I made a website.
What?
Oh, that reminds me to make
What's
sure that goes live.
It's a website about.
Oh,
it's about Mylan Games, is it?
Well, when you're on the shitter, you can now read the scripts. Or if you get your headphones and you want to read the lore, you can now read my scripts. They'll be on the website. Links to artwork will be up there too. And if you ever miss out on stuff and you want to, we'll do some more things with it. But for the moment, the main probably appeal is if you want to read or do more research, you can just log on. Boom, boom, boom. It's a link to Ishtar Collective, all my quotes and stuff like that. You can read it, and we'll start categorizing stuff so people can be able to do some other stuff. But
so what you're saying is it's basically OnlyFans for lore nerds and you.
It's OnlyFans lore nerds, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. There's a secret members only section where I do ASMR. Actually, that's my normal lore voice. I just put my lore voice on. I just put my law voice on and read I don't know, restaurant menus. Okay.
I would pay a lot of money for you not to read law ASMR. Is that an option? Is it like you need like a sliding scale of people donating? Like, if you out donate, anyway, whatever. My mind is a bag of cats. Let's move on. That's good. So you made a website. That's very good. What else have you done this week?
Well, you know me. I only really made a website because I had a sponsor. By the way,
fuck! I knew there'd be a bloody. Yeah, here we go. Who's this? Hang on. This podcast isn't sponsored by.
No, this podcast. No, mate. They don't get free
you
promo.
About to say Squarespace? You about to say Squarespace?
Maybe.
We're the only podcast in the fucking universe not sponsored by Squarespace.
Well, there you go. Fucking add it to the list. And then, actually, I read the new law for Guardian Games. Holy fuck, it is so funny. Did you read it?
I haven't.
Tweeted it.
I haven't. I read the bit that you tweeted at me. I didn't know. You know what I'm like. I'm just flying around, not really. I didn't realize it was new. I thought it was old shit. So
no, it is absolutely hilarious. They Titans are just thick as shit, to be honest. They make a better. Actually, it's what you're saying that they need to do to come true, but it's still funny because they're betting against themselves and still trying to win. Hunters are like, if you took 13-year-old Sassy, just like ultimate cringe, and multiplied him and put him in like a death metal boy band. That's what the Hunters are.
Assassinator. Is that where we're going?
Yeah. Like one of them says Hunters rule all the time. Just yells it out. And they're called Death Eaters. They're called They're called some weird fucking name. And yeah, it's super cringe.
And what's the Warlocks? What's the Warlocks? How do they?
If you ever want proof that Bungie favors Warlocks, just go read the Guardian Games because they get off like Titans are absolute dummies. Warlocks get away with like they're literally just snobs. That's it. And they cheat. And they cheat in Guardian Games.
That's the thing. Like they don't really have like I guess being edgy is like the Hunter trait. Being a blunt instrument is the Titan trait. Warlocks, we're wise.
Smart. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit harder to characterize.
Well, they did this funny thing where they're like floating over to the bookie and he's like, oh, fucking Warlocks. Can
we get an actual bookie, like a sports bet bookie, put in the tower?
See? Oryx 11. It's true. Warlocks are the best. I fucking knew it, mate. I fucking knew it.
I've only ever seen
so I read them.
Playing a hunter.
I read them, and here's a bit of bait for you. Next video, they also released an item that heavily hints at Cade 6's replacement. It's probably all in the same vein as fun because it's Guardian Games, but we'll talk about it at the end. That's what the next video is on. And I cover the funny lore tabs as well. And this week, I did solo, flawless, Titan, prophecy dungeon. So that was tough.
Yeah, that was what I wanted to hear.
It is really hard.
That is what I wanted to hear.
It's way harder. It's way harder.
Life without invis is a different animal. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like Pit of Heresy now, like the ball dupe on totems is so easy on a Titan. That area is actually really fucking hard on a Hunter, especially even with invis. It is actually a pretty challenging area. But because you can ball dupe like all 6 of them in a bubble, you're basically groovy. You can get that bit done, one and done. But prophecy is tough biggies, mate.
I also saw that you defeated, I can't remember the name of the enemy in Thingo, but you defeated it perfectly timed with All-Star by Smash Mouth.
Yeah, we had a really...
I thought it was an edited video, but I'm like, wow, what's Matt doing here? No, you just happened to completely, perfectly... Like, how long did that take you? How many hours for it to line up perfectly with the end of All Star by Smash Mouth. What are the odds?
Yeah, it was like a 4-hour stream or something.
And
And
the two great meme songs.
yeah, and so I gave chat control of the playlist and they could add whatever they wanted. I said, just add stuff that gets me hyped up. And before that, it was like fucking the Wiggles, Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm pretty sure my flawless run with the Titan has Thomas the Tank Engine in it.
Fruit salad, bit of... I mean, trust me, I know the Wiggles, man.
Yeah. And then that was how it ended. So, you know, maybe not the best decision. Not DMCA like friendly, but whatever. It was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be there, and then it just gets deleted into the ether of the internet, and no one will ever hear about it till they start doing live takedowns.
Wait, what have you been doing? Dodging death threats?
Can I just point out the greatest irony of all of this? And it's been pointed out to me ad nauseum. The amount of shit I used to give you for the old Word doc streams. Here's Matt with his Word document talking about law. And I mercilessly paid you out about it forever and then make one fucking Google Doc spreadsheet and end up in fucking Forbes. But honestly, all it was about was the second I understood how Guardian games worked, I went, I'll fucking figure it out.
Methods.
Because with hunters having a population advantage, I was just interested to see like how close it would get. But I mean, really, they're nigh on impossible to beat if the maths that they laid out in the thing is accurate, and a couple of assumptions like population percentages and shit that are from old articles. So I was given, I don't know, I think I was given SAS shit maybe, and was like, you're just getting this handed to you, blah blah blah, or whatever. Because I mean, that's what SAS and I do. We're good mates and we just talk shit. So I'm like, no, I'm going to make a spreadsheet to prove it. And then I'm like, well, I made the spreadsheet that proved it. And then I'm like, well, what would have to happen to derail it? Because that's me. So
basically it's lose, get is it 10% or times?
It's 10%. It's 10%. And I calculated it like as it's 10% of the base contribution, right? Which is all just a magical mumbo jumbo number, but it so far has rung relatively true. So really, all the funniest realization was that basically I came to the conclusion that the most effective way for Titans to win was just to literally not play for the first 9 days of the event, and
it's working, right?
Well, I mean, they've come second once, and it's like 3 days we've come last. I don't know whether it's people have gotten wind of it or what. It's definitely like I tweeted it out as a fucking joke, and I want that to be very clear because there's some people who've like, I'm getting the like, you're worse than a hacker in trials.
Really?
Yeah, it's so fucking. There's tweets
for politically playing by the rules.
For just going, oh, here's the system. Here's how we can, look,
not manipulate it.
Just want to flip the table a little bit.
I mean, hacking's one thing, but you are the sword 3-peaking version of Excel spreadsheets.
Oh yeah, look, yeah, I'm cheesing.
Like it's in the game, you can do it.
We could just not do it,
but it's frowned upon.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not saying that this is morally the right thing to do. Morally, the right thing to do would probably just be turn up every day and hope for the best and get flogged by hunters, because that's ultimately the way it'll pan out. But I'm like, well, no. And then I was talking to Joker about it because he jumped onto it and he's like, well, yeah, we need to do this. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he sent it to Paul Tazi, and I got word about 2 minutes before the article went up. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is gonna go bad. And
so you featured.
I think it's a beautiful article in that it's basically just playing on the absurdity of it all, and I'm fine to be the butt of the joke of the Titan who did maths once. That's.
Do you know if this plays out though, you will become the villain? And I'm sort of happy.
I'm already the villain. I'm already the villain.
Do you know the worst thing? You know what you need to do? You need to change your fucking Twitter handle to DDU. Just to lap up the free promo. If Titans win and this all comes back around,
Yeah.
I've got a
Spreadsheet
podcast.
Satan. Follow Destiny Down Under podcast.
Spreadsheet Satan.
I don't know, but I mean, look, I've had a bit of a think about it, and I'm like, look, Guardian Games, and it did this last year, has a very pronounced way of sort of there's a bit of bitterness in it, right? And like not interpersonally, like with SAS and things like that, like we just sledge the shit out of each other, and I imagine in groups of friends and stuff, it's the same. Like it's just all banter and fun. But I think we could probably do with disarming a little bit of that, and I think that what it stems from is just simply that people are so attached to their in-game identity, right? Like I am a Titan. And if I see someone go, Titans are fucking shit, and I'm just scrolling through Twitter, I go, what a fuckwit. And, you know, like, so I don't begrudge anyone for being emotionally attached to their class or anything like that. But, like, fucking tone it down with a, you fucking nerd. Yeah, you fucking...
It's we've spoken this before. It's like the double-edged sword of Destiny. Is like people love it so much and have so much investment in the characters they've created that it's like following your favorite football team.
Yeah, it is.
You just
that's it. That's the analogy.
We're literally soccer hooligans. Like you just without knowing someone, you're like, well, they're a Titan, not friends.
I think Destiny like that, like as a game, is like that. Like it's transcended. Like, oh, okay, here's the game that I'm playing for a bit. It's like, okay, here's the game that I play. This is the game, right? It's part of your identity. It's like me following the Dragons in the football. It's just one of those things that becomes part of who you are. But then, sure, on top of that, like in that, something that you care about a lot, you associate with one of the classes. Look, and I mean, like, no disrespect to the people that are out there that play all three and master all three and are incredible. I think you're aliens. I don't know how you do it. But I think no matter, if you put someone on the spot, they kind of inherently identify as one of them and have since the moment that they first logged into Destiny. And I think it's a beautiful thing, but also you're right, it's a double-edged sword. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out from here, because like there's probably, I give it a 1% chance that the little plan that I laid out will work, and it will be, and I'll get to sit here in 3 weeks' time being absurdly smug. But what the 99% chance is that it all blows up in my face and I look like an idiot, which I'm completely fine with as well.
Oh, you know what I forgot to say? I got some Grandmasters done with Bife and Barb too.
Oh yeah, you did too. How did that go? Did you? Well, you talked about it. You'd done one, I think, last week.
Oh yes, I did. I did another 2 today.
Yeah, nice.
I got a palindrome with Rampage and Outlaw, I think. That's
pretty good. I don't know if anyway, I've been talking to Sassy about fucking 120 versus 140s for like 2 days.
Feels pretty good.
It feels heaps better than a 120. But yeah, I think like damage perks on it, at least in PvP where I'm concerned with it, are kind of redundant because it doesn't really reduce the amount of shots you've got to hit on people. Anyway, we can talk about that another time.
So what was the worst message you got from this?
Oh, I had, you know what, and this is, I haven't seen this for a few years, but that's mainly because I've just shut my fucking mouth and tried to keep my head down and not bait this kind of garbage. But I've noticed that people will repeatedly tweet something at you and then delete it instantly, and then tweet it again and then delete it instantly, because it comes up in your notifications if they know that you're scrolling, right? Like, but it's not there when you go to interact with it.
Really? So what were they saying?
Oh, just you're a fucking nerd, jump off a cliff, and like I'm not actually going to repeat any of it, but I know that like Katie Cat has copped some probably worse of it than me, which was, you know, because she made a video about it because I pointed it out to her and we were laughing, going like, let's see if we can pull this off. And there's people just like, But yeah, look, if you're out there and you're upset about a spreadsheet, grow up. It took me 15 minutes. Just calm down.
You're such a fucking nerd. I don't know how you're a Titan.
Yeah, I know. I think that caught everyone off guard. The reaction I've had to it is like showing people the spreadsheet, and then inherently they forward it onto their smart friend, who then go like, does the math check out? I haven't had anyone say it doesn't yet, so I must be going okay. But that,
Yeah, what would be hilarious is if the math was wrong on it. That'd be fucking funny.
Yeah.
And you've caused all this shit. And you're like, actually, oh fuck, and you've encouraged everyone to lose.
Oh, look.
Mate, they're gonna make a law tab about you if you keep this fucking up. There's gonna be a next fucking Guardian Games. There's gonna be this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna write in one Titan, the only Titan in existence that understands mathematics, and that's you. And they're gonna put out a spreadsheet, and there's gonna be a fucking error. And he's gonna encourage all the other dumb Titans to lose, and you're still gonna lose Guardian Games because you've got an error in the math.
Just there at the end of it, going, oh.
Oh, I was off, guys. Sorry about that.
I was off.
Right. Anything else exciting your week?
No, not really. Not really. I'm off next week, though. I've got a week off work, and I'm going on a little trip with the fam. So I'm looking forward to that. Fuck, it was a long week. Just trying to get ahead. Like, you know, when you don't. You fucking make stupid videos and stuff for a living, but...
Mate, it's not like I fucking came straight out of fucking high school.
No, actually, you know more. Videos. You know more than anyone, because like in your job, you have literally no one that you can shirk shit to. So like you've got to be a week ahead before you even think about having a week off, which is, you know, that's what I've been.
Yeah, I always have to be a week ahead. Yeah, I got to have the video scheduled, mate, and then cross my fingers. Bungie doesn't release a bloody law web page about the exact topic I've just finished making a video about.
Yeah, I mean, you can get stung by that, can't you? Yeah, so I'm doing that. So I won't be around usual streams on Monday and Wednesday, but I'll be back at the end of the week, which is maybe that's my invested interest in telling everyone not to play Guardian Games for a week because I won't be here anyway. I hadn't even thought about that. Anyway, do we want to dive into this?
There was nothing controversial. There was nothing controversial.
Nothing controversial's happened in this TWAB whatsoever.
Nothing to really talk about this week.
I had someone ask me, Log, what do you think about Transmog? And I replied, I'm not telling you. You'll have to watch the podcast. And that's the hack, kids. Keep your hot takes until you can put them in a monetized format. that's how you fucking. All right, you got your
hot take.
Let's go. I'm gonna play the sting, and we'll come back with the tab.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're gonna go. Here it is. I'm gonna present it. We'll go through it as presented. Guardian Games is happening.
Yeah. Okay, go on. We'll get to it.
Guardian Games is happening. It's a thing, and Hunters are winning. They've won every day so far. With 3 days down, we're into the 4th day. Buttons coming last, so I don't know. let's just see how that pans out. Palindrome, the Swarm, and Shadow Price. What are they doing? Their new legendary weapons will be added to the Nightfall rotation along with them, so you can be able to get adept versions. It'd be interesting to see what they are, but I don't know. I mean, Palindrome, I think once the nerf comes into 120s, the range nerf, I think we're going to see them be a lot more competitive. So it's on this week. If you like farming Grandmasters, go and get yourself 10. I don't know. I'm just treading, but we've got to talk about armor synthesis and all of that. That's it. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for.
And tiptoeing around the edge of it is probably not going to get us any further down the line. So how do you want to tackle this, Matty? Do you want me to read it out and then we can?
Let's read what's in the TWAB. I mean, everyone here has already read it, but let's just refresh ourselves of what's happening, and then we can go to the opinion.
Okay. All right. I'll read it out. Since the launch of great start.
All right, do you want me to read it,
mate? Titan can maths, can't read. Shit go, Power Slave. Since the launch of Destiny 1, we've seen requests for a transmog system. After some development time, buckets of sweat and a few happy tears, we're happy to introduce armor synthesis to Destiny 2. Ada 1 will be returning to the tower to help Guardians customize their appearance in a brand new way. Today, we'll be explaining how this feature will work, how you can work your way towards your favorite looks. Quick note, many of the following screenshots were from a test build, blah, 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 blah. But look, there's very pretty Warlock. Very nice. All right, that's about as much of it as we can get through without being probably contentious. Before we get too deep, here's a quick list of the steps that players will take to convert their armor appearances into universal ornaments. Defeat enemies to earn Synth Strand. Spend Synth Strand on bounties to earn Synth Cord. Convert Synth Cord at the loom in the tower into Synth Weave. Use Synth Weave to convert an unlocked armor appearance, legendary quality or lower, from collections into a universal armor ornament.
I always make this joke on stream all the time, and it's ironic to see it written out because it sort of emphasizes them all. Because I always go every season, go collect the Flabberwatsits, then you put the Flabberwatsits in Doom Malachics, and then that converts it to a umbral pinnacle spin foil hat. Wear the hat at midday every day for the next week whilst on patrol, and that will unlock the booties of power. Put the booties of power on, and it's like
look. To be fair, there is a part of that is inherently MMO quest design.
Yes.
MacGuffins chasing MacGuffins and all of that sort of shit.
Yes.
Right, we'll get through it. I promise it's happening.
Sorry.
To start, players will begin earning Synth Strand when defeating enemies in Destiny 2. After earning 150 Synth Strand, players may visit Ada 1 in the tower to acquire class-specific bounties, which will reward Synth Cord. When developing this feature, an early goal was to ensure players could earn Synthweave through numerous activities in Destiny 2. That way, players who spend most of their time in the Crucible could continue to do so and still engage with armor synthesis. There will be 5 categories of armor synthesis bounties: Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit, Destinations, or Raids and Dungeons. Here are examples of the bounties you will see. Right, the Vanguard ones: complete playlist strikes using specific subclasses. That's pretty run-of-the-mill. And accumulate points in Nightfall strikes. Crucible, capture control zones. This is the part of it that I'm most excited about. I just want to see people capping zones. How beautiful. Complete Crucible matches and defeat opponents using specific damage types as a team. It's pretty similar to some of the stuff we see in Trials as it stands right now, with arc kills as a team. Gambit, send and defeat blockers in Gambit, and defeat primeval envoys, high value targets and primevals in Gambit. Destinations, defeat nightmares and nightmare hunts, defeat bosses while defending the blind well within the Dreaming City. Use for the blind well. Happy enough to see that. Raids and dungeons. Complete the final encounter of any raid or dungeon. Generate orbs of power in raids or dungeons.
Oh, mate,
shitloads of that. There will be bank. That's the one. There will be people making bubbles and just bubbling for days. If you pick up the wrong bounty, some of the Synth Strand will be refunded if you choose to abandon it, but not the full amount. So think carefully before abandoning. Look, here's what the system looks like. I'll have a quick look. It is a disgusting, unsightly warlock, but you get the gist from that. It's I am excited for it. I do think that it will add a lot, but let's get into the meat and spuds at the end of it. How many of these can you earn? Players may earn up to 10 Synthweave per class per season. Per
class per
season. That's a long time. Except in Season of the Redacted, which is the next season we're going into. To celebrate the introduction of armor synthesis in Season of the Redacted, players will be able to earn 10 additional Synthweave per class through the introductory experience. In total, during Season of the Redacted, players may be able to earn up to 20 Synthweave per class, which can either be used to convert 4 full sets to ornaments or 20 specific items. So more or less, you don't have to do it by set. You can jump in and just pick your favorite parts. Like for me, I love the Prodigal Helm. It'll be on everything. It'll be the first thing I unlock. But I don't really give a stuff about the rest of that armor set. So it'll be just do one part. As a quick example, for hunters out there, that could mean you unlock 4 armor pieces plus 16 individual cloaks to swap between, depending on your mood, which sounds like a very hunter thing to do, let's be honest. So look, here it is. If you're watching the video version of this is basically what it looks like. Much like the ornament system. Now you can scroll through all the different options that permutations you've got unlocked. Cool. Some exceptions to this apply. Universal ornaments may be applied to legendary armor pieces. Exotic armor pieces cannot take the appearance of alternate armor. That's fair enough. I think the one thing that Destiny's always done well is make it so that you can pick what someone's wearing sort of at a glance. Dune Marches, for example, they're pretty readily identifiable. And I don't think anyone would want to see that change. It would just be fucking confusing.
I think that's fine.
There will also be a few exceptions for launch. U1 armor ornaments due to technical constraints, but we are currently working on solutions for future seasons. So they include the U1 armor ornaments. Remember when you had ornaments that you could unlock by doing stuff in Vanguard, Crucible, Iron Banner, all that sort of stuff. So there's some constraints there. This look, I'll gloss over the tail end of that because it's rats and mice. Because this is the big issue, all right? Eververse. Eververse will also offer synthwave templates for direct purchase through Guardian Appearance screen. Players may either purchase a single synthwave or they may purchase a 5-piece bundle. The single one costs 300 silver, and the bundle costs 1,000. So you get there's always an inherent discount. Cool. Shaders are the shader system's getting an overhaul also. They'll be once you've acquired, you'll be able to equip them. You won't need to keep them in your inventory, all that sort of stuff, which is great.
But they're increasing the price or something, aren't they?
Yes. So the bright dust price of shaders is going from 40, I believe, to 300. So there will be no repeat cost, but they are much more expensive off the bat. That's one of the most contentious points I've seen. So, look, let's just dive in here, Matty.
Just rip the Band-Aid off. Look, I did a bit of not a poll, but I did ask a bit of a debrief with chat, and I got the opinion of a lot of people in Twitch, and it's similar to what everyone else is upset about. So I can go through each point, but my gut reaction is it's just very mobile game, and it's very, we are right on the precipice of just, you can see the direction it's going, and I think it makes a lot of people very uncomfortable and very upset with something that should be simple. They should be.
Do you want to know why I think the objection to this has been so pronounced?
Go on.
I think that something that is billed as a quality of life improvement for a game to be shipped with, firstly, 3 separate currencies that you need to work your way through to be able to just do it in game, and then a cap put on that, a constraint, and then the ability to purchase to get yourself above that constraint. I think there's like those 3 things have more or less combined to form. Like, look, I understand what Bungie have tried to do in this, in that they've tried to make a bit of a gameplay loop out of something, right? And, some things, I don't believe this needs it. I feel like it would have benefited from just being you can do whatever you want. But I really think that there's a hell of a lot of busy work just to be able to do the stuff that you want to begin with. And then there's a limit on what you can do, and then the option to purchase on top of that.
It's a combination. It's like if a couple of those things weren't there, I think people would be fine. It's like if the limit wasn't there, I think people would be fine. I think people would be a little bit upset with all the busy work. If the Eververse wasn't there, I think people would feel better. It's sort of like this combination of a lot of little things that I think makes it feel a bit icky. And if you've ever played a mobile game, I mean, this is the blueprint for it. And I know Destiny's free to play, but the thing is, it doesn't sit in that space. You still do pay for DLC, and you still do pay for the big yearly releases, and you still pay for the ones in between. And although there is a base game that's free to play, oh mate, it's just
Look, I think
like it's so. How many currencies do we have now? I think that
I'll say
that's
this,
a strategy to get people to spend money.
From
That
my
is a strategy.
perspective,
You overwhelm people with like, especially new players. You got Glimmer, you got Ascending Shards, you got Ascending Golf Balls, you got bloody. Now we got Synth Weave, Synth Mana, Synth, and it's like if that overwhelming feeling of just not knowing where to start. I don't like that in Destiny.
I think that's part of it, right? Because if you logged in and went, okay, well, I go to Ada 1, she gives me a bounty. It might be a long bounty, but I do it. Then I get Synth Weave, bang, I do my armor. You go, okay, well, that's a very clear path. But when there's like 4 steps before that, well, I'm I'm exaggerating, but when you've got to go through this lengthy process, or you go, oh, do I just go and fucking buy it? Like, because you can buy it and automatically be at the end of the process, right? Like, skip all that stuff out. There is no doubt there's like science behind this. At the end of the day, it's a business. They're there to make money.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop people feeling a little bit shitty about it, right? Now,
I agree with that. I think you have to put it in the context of like, I always bring it back to that ornament, right? Was it Whisper of the Worm? And they came out and said, we sold this shader and it basically funded the next dungeon.
Yep.
I think people are happy with that. I think when you put it in the context of, if a season's lacking as well, and you've got all these, and we know that Bungie is expanding, or they have expanded. So it's sort of like, I think people are happy to put more money into Destiny, but they also want to see an overall return to the franchise too, right?
Yeah,
you want to see more content in each thing, and when you don't, and I feel like we're about to, I actually reckon we're about to see that. But when you haven't seen necessarily proof of that, or you haven't seen that come through each time, because when Bungie left Activision, everyone's like, you know what, I'm happy to sink some money into Eververse. I'm happy to do this because supports the company, which means technically they should make more stuff and we should see more things come through. And there's been it's hard.
There's
been a lot of resources into technical stuff yet, so we haven't quite got to like what people would consider content, being more loot, more activities, PvP.
And I think that's the other thing. The other side of the coin is that, like, well, if people are like, well, there's all this work that's been put into, and I'm not dismissing the work that's been put into building this system, because clearly it's very robust, right? But I feel like a lot of people are like, well, fuck, like, this isn't really what we want. We just wanted the ability to be able to change what armor looks like. Like, I want to make my helmet look like this. And, we just wanted it to do what it said on the tin, right? It's a quality of life improvement, not another in-game system with 3 separate currencies that need to be navigated and, managed in your inventory and all that sort of shit. And I say that as someone who's got like a fucking million pure matter glass, whatever the fuck's, just sitting there doing nothing because I never remember to put them on. So I think that plays into it as well, because a lot of people will be like, well, we didn't need any of this shit. We just wanted a system to be able to do this. Now there's all this development time has gone into, making it this big thing, when really it just needed to be changing the appearance of armor. So I don't know. Look, I think from my perspective, is it going to impact on me? Probably not, because
I think actually most people's going to be in that boat. It's just the combination of
it's the thought of it.
Fucking heaps of busy work, but you can also buy it. I think it's just that feeling of the cap and heaps of busy work, but also if you got the dollars, it's right here. I mean,
there's part of me that like
people like.
There's part of me that's like, well, was it naive to expect something that may take away from the universal ornament system as we know it now, almost exclusively worked through Eververse as microtransactions? Was it naive of us to think that there would be something that would come along that would allow us to change our appearance and there wouldn't be a monetized variant of it? I mean, of course there was going to be. Of course there was.
Yeah.
Like it was always going to be that way, and it was, you know, that is games in 2021. Having I think the thing, the issue for most people is that there's a cap on how many that you can do. You can earn. And if that was to go away, I think a lot of people would feel a lot better about it. For me, I just don't want to have another fucking 3 currencies to deal with. Like that was when I read that. Like I mean, I try as best I can to go into everything these days with a pretty neutral attitude. And admittedly, I feel a lot softer about this than a lot of people do, because I've been reading Twitter for the last day, and it's been pretty fucking wild. And while we're talking about that, don't fucking swear at developers. You are never, ever going to get your point across effectively if you carry on like a pork chop. It's just dumb. Don't do it.
No.
Personally, it won't affect me that much because I know what I want. Like I could literally sit here and probably rattle off 10 armor pieces that I want to my shit to look like, and then I'll set it and I'll have, like, I've already thought about this. This is me being pedantic fucking power slave. I'm going to have one appearance for PvP and one appearance for PvE so that I can like identify them quicker in the menu.
Yeah.
And that'll be it. So, I mean, really, as someone who really only wants one helmet look, or maybe 2 at best, one of which I've already got as a universal ornament, I'm not going to spend it there. I'm really only looking at chest pieces, arms and marks for the most part, because I wear June marches all the time. So like for me, it's not a big issue. And I say that as someone that if it did become an issue, that if there was something I wanted, I'd pay for it, because that's the money that we're talking about here isn't a big issue for me either. But that's not a universal comment, and everyone values things differently. So I can't say. I think the trouble that we're seeing a lot of people get into on Twitter is they make objective claims about subjective shit, like the value of things in a game.
Yeah. So I want to talk about maybe solutions, or what things I think would make this better for people, because I think that's also productive.
Yeah, I mean,
and
we've
I see a lot of conversation in chat,
rule.
and obviously as a podcast, it's hard for us to respond to that, right? Just make sure you're still being respectful, and it is a heated debate, and that's fine to have passion, but you know what Log said before, just be respectful full stop. So I think the cap I would like to understand why there is a cap. Because once you reach a cap, can you purchase more with silver?
Yeah.
There's no cap on silver.
I mean, that seems to be everyone's understanding.
Silver purchases.
That's my understanding of it.
So you can have you can only earn a certain amount, but you can buy as much as you want.
Yes.
Okay.
That is my understanding of it. Yes.
I think that's making people feel very upset, even though, I mean, I think your average player probably won't go through more than 2 sets, to be honest.
It's a principle.
I think the principle of that upsets people.
It's the Marbo.
The what?
The Marbo. Come on, Matt. It's the castle, for God's sake.
Oh, mate, I don't know these quotes.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So that's one thing. I think the other thing is, why do we have synth strand to purchase bounties to earn synth cord to then convert to synth weave? If we look at that process, do we need 3? Why not just buy bounties as per usual that takes you straight to synth weave, which then you use to upgrade?
It doesn't need to be a big, like I think like here it's going to be 3 individual steps, right? Like there's the currency to buy like even if you could take the synth cord or whatever the middle one is, you could get rid of that entirely. You go, okay, well, we get the synth baby, whatever the fucking first one was. A baby synth.
Synth strand.
Synth strand.
Cord,
so, you earn synth strand, you use synth strand to buy the fucking bounty from Ava, and it's a big bounty. It takes you a while. Like it's a big, a significant thing, and at the end you get synth weave. I don't understand why there needs to be an intermediary step in there at all. I don't know. Like I just feel like it's kind of bloated and clunky and that and
So yeah, I think if that was like reduced, right, to just do bounty to earn material. Like this is the material that does this thing, and you do a bounty. I mean, we have that in other areas, right? Like if you need to get upgrade materials, you just get them. So I think if you could reduce the complexity of it, because to be honest, I do think this starts to get to an area where there is a big barrier for new players, and it's already bloated with currencies.
Yeah, I think
like
that's equally the issue here. Like, fair enough, we're not going to have to contend with shaders anymore. That's fucking excellent. I love that. I reckon it's probably the biggest actual quality of life improvement in all of this, right? Like, it is the improvement. But man, there's some fucking dead currencies and shit in Destiny, and like stuff that, like Dreaming City fucking cat bowls. Like shit that I haven't thought about in fucking 2 years, and you're like, okay. At some point, I think it needs to be made much more concise. I understand that's part of like games as a whole, but I wasn't expecting it with this. I mean, Glimmer is there. It should be the universal currency, right? It's what everyone's after.
Yeah. I think that there was a lot of discussion in my chat about the glows from I never did it.
Solstice. Yeah,
Solstice.
Heroes, yeah. The fact that
and I think
they're not initially coming back, but
I think that's adding a lot of salt to the wound as a broken promise, from what I understand, that people were told that they would return and people spent money on it. And I think that feels.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. That's,
okay.
I didn't do it. This is what I'm sure chat will correct me, but from what I heard, I've seen a lot of different people say the same thing on Twitter, that we were told that this will come back and money had been spent on it and paid actual money for them, and they're not coming back as far as we know.
Yeah, I think things like that need to be addressed, but I also understand that things like that, at least initially, get kind of lost in the mix of a system as massive as this. So I'm not defending anyone,
but
and I think it sucks.
Can't. You just
I
can't.
think it does suck, but it's I mean, I imagine that's why it's happened. That's all I'm saying.
You can 100% like this stuff. Like anyone who's worked anywhere, like just times you've had any job, just I don't know, make it 1,000 times more complicated. It's probably games industry, right? So like,
yeah, I mean, it's going to be harder than a fucking spreadsheet, right? Like,
right. I think that from what I see, I've seen is making a lot of people upset. I actually saw a lot of people upset about the shader increase in price.
Yeah, I mean, given
300 bright dust from 30.
And it came a season after there was a reduction in sort of avenues to earn bright dust. I remember Ninja doing the maths that it ended up that we earned less, even though it initially looked like it'd be more. So, I don't know. I mean, that's specifically shaders that you are buying from Eververse. I don't know. I've not had to actually pay money for any of those. I've always had enough bright dust and not really thought twice about it. I only tend to buy shit that I like anyway. You do just
buy it though, don't you? It's to buy them.
Bang.
Yeah, then you get them.
Yeah.
I don't know where I sit on shaders yet. I'm just passing along that. I think people I don't know. Once again, I think it's just a accumulation of all these different things when you put them together. Because it is just the blueprint of a mobile game to print money. If you've ever played any mobile game, like, look, I've done my Raid Shadow Legends sponsors, right? And I had to play the fucking game. And I guarantee as soon as you fucking get into that game, boom, 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 it just bombards you with currencies. And you're like trying to work out, like, I just want to buy this character, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, fuck it. I'll just spend like $2. And you're in. You don't have to go to the castle to defeat the boss, to get the vampiric
combination of fucking
to put
3
the
different currencies
card in the fucking portal. It's like,
yeah, I mean that's definitely part of it. The other side of it is like, I can't see this being like a fucking monumental money spinner if this is the way it's been received. Like, I mean, sure, there are always going to be people out there who are willing to spend money on it.
Yeah.
And like, if the only thing that's spending money on it really bought you is the convenience of not having to do the bounties, then I think that's fine. But if you are locked at a cap, it becomes a different ball game. I don't know. I was talking to Sass about it just as a I'll throw my solution out. Even if once you hit the cap, what the cap is now for the amount of armor pieces that you can transmog, I think if that at that point they started making it, you could continue doing it, but the challenges got bigger and there was more work went into it, and it was kind of like a sliding scale. I think that would even be better received than a hard cap. I don't know. If you really want something, and you're prepared to put in the work, you can have it for, effort, time, and money.
I think the other thing that really blindsided people was just the expectation, because I think the overall community expectation would be, I find a piece of armor I like the look of, it gets added as a universal ornament, and then I just click one button and boom, I look like that. Like, I think that was the general expectation.
Yeah, I mean, that was I think what everyone was hoping for. Right?
You're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, it's a full-blown Destiny fucking gameplay loop at that point. Like, all I really wanted to do is put my fucking old helmet on, right? So it feels like you got to do a lot of work to get back something that you effectively already had, or pay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, look, all this sort of shit in gaming, microtransactions, the discussions around, should it be everything fucking is part of the game and you pay a subscription, and like, do we move to the WoW model? Do we should everything just be able to be purchased straight out? Or like, I think the fact that you can look at 5 massive fucking games and they all have completely different systems just proves the point that there's really no best practice with this. Like we've seen over the last couple of years the rise of things like season passes and all that sort of stuff. That's sort of, I guess, the current most popular model, where a period of time before that it was either buying content outright, in Destiny with DLCs and whatnot, or a subscription model like a lot of the MMOs rely on. I just think that, like, I don't think there is a perfect system. I think, like, at the end of the day, they are there to make money. And if you are going into it with like trying to pinch your pennies, you are going to feel like you are, dangling above the shark bait a lot of the time, because, yeah, they want to make you money. That's the business. I think, I don't know. I mean, it's easy for me to say as someone who's relatively settled and comfortable in life, and if I want something, I can buy it, right? This is still my cheapest fucking hobby. I've spent way less on Destiny than I have on music and all that sort of stuff. But as I said before, the way I value things is that's on me, and I can't project that across. That's kind of the thing that's been annoying me the most, is that I've been like, people going, "Oh, it's fucking $5, you fucking idiot." And I'm like, man, if you told me it was $5 back when I was fucking 21 and I just moved out of home and had nothing to fucking scrape together, I'd have told you to get fucked and shove it as well. But now I would, spend more than that on a beer and not think twice about it. So I get it.
I also feel like with these kind of changes, and I don't know, I'm just sort of guessing, you're much better, like from a business perspective, you're much better to go hard and hope you don't get called out. But no, if you do get called out, you can dial it back.
I saw, did you see Skill Up's tweet about that?
No. Yeah, did he say something like that?
He basically said exactly the same thing. That was the next thing I was going to bring up. It was like,
really?
Release overbearing system, community backlash, pare it back, we're listening. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's a cynical way of looking at it, but it's not entirely untrue. I mean, probably the last big example of something like this, I mean, obviously the repealing of sunsetting was a big one, and that's happened, it's a huge systemic change for what we thought Destiny was going to be going forward. This level of backlash In the past, probably artifact level being enabled in trials. It was universal that, like, to a man, everyone went, that's a shit idea, we don't want it. And within 24 hours, it was like, okay, well, I think it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. And look, I'm on the other side of it is it's the Destiny community we're talking about here. Like, pretty quick to anger, like, and we have a history of making mountain out of molehills, but I don't think this is the molehill. I think this is
I feel like the Destiny community is pretty much always angry about something, but I feel like we're pretty good at picking like the ones that maybe more legitimate anger. And I see Jugs' comment in the chat right now, and I'm sort of on that part as well. There's only so many times you can do it, and
it'd be seen as a genuine action.
Yeah, and it just, I don't know. I think overall, I think people really had a lot of hope for Bungie being the company that, you know, did have a really close relationship with the community, like the Halo days. There's a lot of nostalgia there, and a lot of people blamed Activision for a lot of changes. And I think people were expecting a perfect relationship with them when they went independent.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. I think, like, look, at the end of the day, and to be fair, on the balance of averages, Bungie do an incredible lot of good, right? Like, it not only in the game, but, you know, outside of that in society in general. So
yeah,
fair's fair. But I think that's going to be the nature of the beast, because, I mean, you look at Bungie as a company and they're fucking growing nearly exponentially, and we're talking like an office in Amsterdam, and, you know, there's going to be multiple games all at once and things like that. I think having that level of, like, full-blown personal connection is going to get harder and going to be more difficult, and that's part of the parcel. I mean, you look at guys like DMG and Cosmo and all of that, they've got hundreds of thousands of people following them. And admittedly, they do an incredible job of going in and answering fucking people's questions, but I can't even imagine what it's like to be on the other end of that Twitter account and genuinely trying to do that for a living. I know that's part of it, and I know they get paid for it, and that's their job, and they, you know, they both, like, love the game and are playing it and all that sort of stuff. But just in sheer scale, feeling that, like, close knit fucking thing is going to be it's sand in your fucking hand, man. It's going to be very hard to hold on to, and that's part of it.
I mean, I definitely don't envy the community manager's job,
especially on days like
because
yesterday,
the thing is, if you were a community manager and you read those changes, you're like, okay, this week's going to be rough. Like, you don't need to be rocket science to work out that the community is going to be fucking super angry with those changes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And someone's gone, the DMG goes, don't be mad.
Yeah, he's basically the messenger that gets kicked into the well at the start of 300. Like, at that point, right? Here's what my boss told me to tell you. Oh, well, fuck off. Down the pit you go. I mean, I don't mean to trivialize it. Look, they do an incredible job, and I can't take away from that at all. But yeah, it must be rough on days like that. And look, I mean, admittedly, same goes for the people who, you know, like, design the system, to see it so publicly criticized and whatnot. I think that must be rough too. So look, let's just be humans. Let's just fucking pare it back a little bit. You're allowed to be critical. Don't be a dick.
We'll see what the response is, I guess. Be interested to see what changes. Yeah. I think. We're going around in circles. Last thing I'll say is, I feel like a lot of the goodwill that Bungie was known for is evaporated. A lot of the mantra of just doing what was right and doing the good thing, I think people it's far back in the rearview mirror. And that's okay. But I think that's a big paradigm change for people I feel like Bungie always felt like the friendly developer. The guy on your side, the girl on your side, the one back in the community. Their motto, we make games we want to play. And I don't feel like we're anywhere close to that. And that's okay, because they're growing and they're different and they're big. But I think this is almost the same line. People go, okay, like we just need to accept that this is the direction that stuff's going to go, and need to make a decision whether I want to be part of this journey moving forward or not.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. That's I mean, that's what I was getting at. That personal touch is going to be impossible to maintain over scope and size of things going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing you can do, and the thing that, DMG and that are around for, is to hear your feedback. So present that in a way that is fucking palatable, right? Have your say, because they're not saying that they don't care. They're just, go out and say your piece, but don't be a dick about it. All right, holy fuck, that was...
Oh, it's good to get it out.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I fucking hate talking about shit like this. I'd much rather be able to talk about something that we're excited about than not. But I mean, that's just me. I get nothing out of shitting on things, but I just you got to be honest at the end of the day, and it does fall short on a few counts. There's not much else in the TWAB. Maddie, what do we want to talk about now? Do we want to open the floodgate up and everyone, and we can just quick fire some questions? And I feel like unless you want to go through your Guardian Games lore.
Do you want to lighten the mood by me reading some of these cards?
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
We just read them?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we need it. We've accidentally done something very good here, as per fucking usual.
Dude, I actually think that I recommended in my next video that you go and read them. I'm going to tell you them right here, right now, because they're worth a read. And I feel like I'll read the Hunter. You read the Titan.
All right,
what do we do for the Warlock?
Fucking flick it to me. We ignore the
Warlock. Yeah. I'm on it, bud. I'm bringing them up now.
Well, we get Tamsin in here to read the Warlock.
Tamsin, you want to read the Warlock? Fucking roped into a fucking podcast. Wait, what? All right, let me read you this. Sit back, go relax. Let's all lower the blood pressure, and let me read you.
Are you going to do it in like actual law voice?
Well, I don't put the fucking voice on. The voice comes naturally when I read from a script. That's because I can't read. Okay. And I have to concentrate. So yes, it's going to have the law voice.
I want to slid you about that, but everyone knows that I can't read either. So anyway.
Good. Right. Cobra's hood. I never did find that horn. Oh my God. I just realized my mistake in the video.
Oh no.
People are going to be angry. Anyway. I didn't read the flavor text. I never did find that horn. I'm going to have to make an amendment.
Uh-oh.
I never did find that horn, Lord Shax. Prakash sat on his grey Hornet, parked in his usual spot at the base of the tower. A former Guardian who was watching bootleg transmissions of the latest Cabal death matches when one of his runners tugged on his sleeve. Prakash jumped in surprise. Son of a dreg, don't sneak up like that. He smoothed his fur vest in self-placation. Placation? Sorry, sir. The kid scuffed his feet sheepishly. Just that some guys want to make a bet. Prakash sucked his teeth in annoyance. So take the bet. What the hell are you hassling me for? The kid ran his grubby fingers along the sharp black lines of the bookie's ride. They won't gimme the chip. They say they got to talk to you direct. Prakash swatted the runner's hand away. I just had that detailed. He sighed in expiration. Fine, send them over. But if they end up making some lame prop on the new Hunter Vanguard or something, I'm going to run you over with this thing. The kid nodded and scampered off. A few minutes later, a fire team of 3 hunters sauntered over. Prakash slouched further onto his Sparrow in a dramatic display of nonchalance. his nonchalance, is that right? His
you nailed it.
His ex-Corsair enforcer, Tulnik, cracked his knuckles. The hunters posed coolly in front of the bookie. The team leader, a gunslinger, casually flicked a knife between his fingers. I guess you've probably heard of us. Prakash glanced at Tulnik, who shook his head. Not really, the bookie said. Now, what's this about? The Arc Strider stepped forward menacingly. Show respect. You're talking to the death dealers. Prakash raised an eyebrow. Cool name. I once had a cat named Death Dealer. Behind him, he heard Tulnik guffaw. The Arc Strider snarled and sent a crackle of arc energy rippling through his arm. But before he could strike, the Night Stalker blinked in front of him and put her hand on his chest. Whoa. Cool it, Gene. He's not worth it. Remember your breathing exercises. The Arc Strider nodded. You're right. He's not worth it. He retreated, put his hands on his head, and walked in circles around the plaza, exhaling loudly. Prakash cleared his throat cautiously. So you want to make a bet? Or, you're damn right we do, the gunslinger replied. We're betting on hunters to win the Guardian Games. Hunters rule, shouted Gene from across the plaza. Is that all? Prakash asked with confusion. That's stock standard. Why didn't you put a chip in like everyone else? The Night Stalker leaned in conspiratorially. Because of what we're wagering, she said, and opened her pack to reveal a single curling horn. Prakash's eyes went wide. Is that whose I think it is? The gunslinger crossed his arms smugly. You tell us. How did you even get this? Never question the death dealers. Now what's it worth to you? The gunslinger said. Prakash shrugged. Hunters win gold, you get one legendary hand cannon each. If not, I get, he dropped his voice to a whisper, the horn. Throw in a couple of umbral engrams, the Night Stalker counted, and you got a deal. Prakash pretended to consider. It's a deal, he finally said, and recorded the transaction in his data pad. Good luck in the Guardian Games, hunters. Hunters rule, shouted Gene to nobody in particular.
That was probably the most cringeworthy.
Yeah, it's good though. It's so good. It's so good. So I didn't realize. So everyone kept saying it was Shax's horn, and I was like, it doesn't really say that. Like I can see where you get it from, but the fucking flavor text says I never did find that horn, Lord Shax.
Ah, okay. So it is
Shax's horn.
Well, motherfuckers.
They could be lying. They could be lying.
I mean, they probably are because they sound like a mob of piss ants. Right?
Yeah.
The death dealers. All right. So
you
want me to read the Titan one, Lion's Pride?
Yeah, read the Titan one.
Right.
It is so good.
Am I going to have like a crushing moment of self-awareness reading this? Or?
Yeah. If you get through without laughing, I'll be impressed.
Okay. All right. It says the flavor text is with fists like those, who needs guns? Everyone else. That's who. That's fine. I already laughed. Fuck.
Right, you're out.
All right. Prakash sat on his grey Hornet, parked in his usual spot at the base of the tower. The former Guardian was holding a kimchi burrito purchased from a food cart with one hand while scrolling through the Crucible results with the other. Guardian Games always bought an influx of bettors, and he needed to know which fire teams had the hot hands. It was shaping up as a banner year for gambling. Is this like an ad for Sportsbet or?
Yeah,
yep. It reads. The bookie's hulking bodyguard, Tolnik, was leaning against the tower, looking at the Cabal pinups. At Cabal pinups?
I know. Hello.
Is he a Cabal? Is Tolnik a Cabal?
No, he's an ex-Corsair. He must be an Awakening.
Yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, it's different strokes for different blokes, I guess. The ex-Corsair clicked his tongue in warning. Prakesh's attention shifted from the burrito to a trio of enormous titans lumbering toward them. A glob of kimchi plopped onto his fur vest. Unlucky. The fire team leader, a sunbreaker, loomed over the bookie. You got something on your hair shirt. You got something on your hair shirt. Fur, right, okay. Prakesh tossed the remainder of the burrito over his shoulder, splattering the side of the tower. Yep, that's alpaca. He crossed his arms over the stain. What can I do for you? The sentinel stepped forward. We want to bet on the hunters to win the Guardian Games. This is Matt. Prakesh's eyebrow shot up. Really? Do I smell a fix coming in? This is huge. He leaned forward conspiratorially. Zavala's not in on it, is he? The Titans glanced at each other in confusion. The striker spoke up. No, we want to bet on the hunters. The bookie frowned. Yeah, you're betting on the hunters because you're going to throw matches. Their blank, helmeted stares prompted him to clarify. I mean, your plan is to lose on purpose, right? The Sunbreaker looked taken aback. Titans never lose to hunters, he said. Yeah, we're much better at fighting, the Sentinel affirmed. Hunters are always jumping around with their little knives or hiding in smoke. He waved his arms around frantically. But I just put up my wall and then Tanish punches them, like, really hard. It's true, the striker proclaimed earnestly. I can punch super hard. So your plan is to win, Prakesh clarified. The trio nodded emphatically. Then why, the bookie asked slowly, are you betting on hunters? The sentinel scoffed. Element of surprise, my man. They'll never see it coming. He and the Sunbreaker fist bumped. But all bets are confidential, Prakesh explained. We wouldn't be here if we weren't confident. The Sunbreaker bragged. Prakesh pinched the bridge of his nose. He was developing a headache. I mean, all bets are secret. Nobody will know what you wagered. Obviously, the Sunbreaker condescended. Wouldn't be a surprise if everybody knew. The Sentinel tapped his massive finger to his temple. See, warlocks aren't the only ones who come up with clever centrifuges. Prakesh threw his hands up in capitulation. Fine, I'll take your bet. He pulled out his data pad. But I want to be really clear. If Titans win the Guardian Games, you're never going to see this glimmer again. There's more to life than glimmer, said the Sunbreaker. I can't wait to see the look on their stupid faces when they find out. The bookie shrugged. Then it's a deal. Good luck in the games, I think.
I told you. My favorite part it was when he said it's all confidential, and the Sunbreaker is like, "Yeah, we wouldn't be here if we weren't confident." And then fist bumps.
It's like 90% of that just reminds me of dialogue Michelangelo would come out with in the Ninja Turtles. Maybe it's just centrifuge.
Like I said, the hunters are like uber fucking cringe, and the Titans are just dumber than literal rocks.
Yeah.
The warlocks get off light, I think, and that proves most of Bungie's a warlock. Hey, it's Orchid has agreed to do a reading for us.
Okay.
How do we work that? Do we get her in here?
Yep. I'll the screen will literally shit itself, but it's fine. Yeah, I'll do this. We'll go over to this. All right, just give me a sec. Okay.
All right. Well, I'll distract.
Yeah.
Just audio. Orchid says.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I'll give people an intro. The class item is called Phoenix's Fire. And you be the judge, but I reckon Warlocks got off lightly. The Titans got absolutely obliterated. The Hunters are ultimate cringe. And we'll see about the Warlocks.
I'm still working it out on my Titan, man.
All right. Well, there is a fourth entry, but that is the Sparrow. Oh, yes. Talks about the next Hunter Vanguard.
Hello.
Hello.
We got
we should never be given like people who do this for a job to
Oh my god.
to help. There we go. Look at that. I pulled one out of the hat. It's all working. Everyone's here. All right. Are you
Hello.
good?
Hi guys.
G'day. How you going?
hello.
Hello.
So we've had to summon a warlock because neither Matt or I wanted to read it. That's pretty
No,
bad.
obviously.
It's a new low
We
even
wouldn't
for
wanna
this
paint you with
podcast. All right, fire away when ready.
All right. This is called Phoenix's Fire. The flavor text reads, challenge every aspect of your opponents. Sometimes a strong body hides a fragile psyche, like Hora Ray. Brackish sat on his gray hornet, parked in his usual spot at the base of the tower. The former guardian read dispatches from Spider's associates with one eye and watched his runners scurry about with the other. The younger kids took bets from all over the city and delivered them to Prakash at his appointed intervals. Once the action paid off, the bookie would send the other kids to settle up. Any incalcitrant debtors were dealt with by Tolnik, his enormous ex-Corsair bodyguard, who is currently leaning against the tower, scratching himself. Prakash chirped a low call to Tolnik, who snapped to attention. A fire team was gliding towards them from across the courtyard. The Guardians' cloaks billowed in a non-existent wind, and their feet barely touched the paving stones. Prakash rolled his eyes. Warlocks. Prakash called out, looking sharp. I love the bird hat. This is Fellwinter's helm, jackass. The Void Walker fired back. Probably costs more than your sparrow. Good, Prakash retorted. And you've got the cash to pay your debts. Now Golsu wasn't quite the mad dog you thought she was. The warlocks glanced at each other surreptitiously. About that, said the Sun Singer. We don't have the moats yet. Tolnik, sensing his moment, stepped forward with a menacing flex. Prakash stayed his enforcer with a manicured hand. Steady, Tully. These are learned scholars. I'm sure they have a needlessly complex plan to make things right. We do, said the Stormcaller through gritted teeth. Double or nothing on the Guardian Games Crucible this week. Prakash gave a low whistle. That's some heavy action. Who you backing? Us, said the Sun Singer, responded, against Melioria's Titans. Prakash's eyebrows shot up. Melioria's at the top of the leaderboards. She's dangerous. And you guys are stylish. It's a bad bet. Unless, the bookie tapped the side of his nose, you know something I don't. The Voidwalker tossed her head, as if flicking her hair. And realizing she was still wearing her helmet, awkwardly put her hands on her hips. Let's just say she's about to have a bad case of existential dread the night before the match. Warlock snickered. Little trick I picked up from the Scions, the Voidwalker finished. Scions put all their armor on their chests, the Sunsinger opined, and none between their ears, like a castle with no roof. The Voidwalker guffawed. Is that why they always look like they're getting rained on? The Stormcaller dropped his voice an octave, puffed out his chest, and lumbered around on bowed legs. When the only tool you have is a Titan, every hammer is a nail. Indeed, the Warlocks chortled and high-fived. It's settled then, Prakash pulled out his datapad. You guys beat Melioria this week and the slate's clean. Otherwise, I get the moats, he said and winked at the Voidwalker. And that fancy hat. The Voidwalker was suddenly serious. Guys, no. Come on, she implored her teammates. You know how many engrams I had to. Deal, the Sunsinger interrupted. He removed his gauntlet and pressed his finger to the datapad. Deal, Prakash smiled broadly. Good luck in the Guardian Games. Not that you'll need it.
Fucking
Nice. All I could think is how much better Orchid is at reading than us two bozos.
Yeah, I mean, look. Absolutely smashed it. Unreal. And like actually characterizing characters. Fancy that. I guess if I just read it in my normal dumbass voice, it's pretty tight. And that was unreal. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone's like, he's doing the voice.
He's in character. The dumbass.
He's in character.
I
You know
don't
what
know.
would be funny? If they just brought this lore to life and if like Warlock's lost, they just delete Felwinter's helm.
Oh my god. That'd be terrible.
Let's
They're
not
already
do that.
essentially deleting the shotguns. Might as well delete the helm too. So it'll be fine.
Let's go for it.
Let's go.
Get her done. Get her done.
Thanks for letting me read, guys. That was fun.
No
Thanks
worries
for
at all,
coming
mate.
on.
Thanks for chipping in.
Yeah,
Good
Yeah.
one.
that was fun. We'll do it again.
Bye.
Bye. Well, this is, I don't know. I mean, I feel better. Like, I'll say that. We had a bit of a trough there in the mood, and we definitely brought it back up. So, perfect. I think it's, I don't know. I mean, obviously my favorite's the Titan one. Maddie, have you decided what you are yet? Or are you still having an existential crisis?
Oh. Do you know, playing Warlocks, like I do appreciate punching things now. Like I can see its appeal, especially with Junie's on.
Titan, you mean?
What did I say? Warlock.
You said Warlock.
Yeah, Titan. Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good.
You did started out as a Titan, didn't you?
No, I started as a Warlock.
Anchor.
Wanker.
All right, look, I think we might wrap up there. It's been a cracking episode. I think we managed to get through everything we needed to get through. Maddie, so you're gonna have to make a correction to the video this week.
I gotta go. I've specifically drawn attention to it, saying a lot of people are speculating it's Shax's horn, but I don't know why. It's literally in the fucking flavor text. I'm gonna have to go make a correction on that.
Oof.
But
That's a big oof.
I'll tell you. I'll read to you the Sparrow one in the next video,
Beautiful.
and then you'll be all
Revisit
caught
this.
up on gunning games.
Yeah, well, we'll be there, and then by next episode, we're going to know whether my stupid harebrained spreadsheet plan works out. So
Is that when does it finish?
it goes for this week coming, and then next week as well. So it'll we'll be at the point
But
where
what
we
day
need
does
to.
it finish on?
Oh, I'm not sure the date. It's 22 days from when it started. That's
Right.
all I know.
Okay.
I used all my fingers and toes to count that. In someone else's toes.
Where's the other two?
All right, we'll find someone to host, but I don't know. I feel like we got out of that all right. Thank you, Orchid, for coming on. What a fucking legend. That was, we put people on the spot. Tamsin was hanging out trying to study in a robe, so probably fair enough that she declined. But over the next week, week and a half, Sass, Tamsin, and I will be kind of trying to get into the vibe of things with Guardian Games, and pulling together our Destiny fans kind of groups that we've made for that. So keep an eye out for that. But I don't know. I feel like we're there, Matty. You got any closing comments you'd like to make? Mate?
I had a good close last time, didn't I?
Yeah, I can't even remember what it was now though. So
Yeah, I remember what it is. It was a little bit of a story. I just put a person Chucky recommended that we can go see after this if you want. Log. So let me take you to a spot, right? You heard about the three groups. You heard about the hunters, the warlocks, right? And the Titans going to make a bet.
Yeah.
But no one remembers the frames, the bots, the sweeper bots, the little dudes just taking in information, just seeing what's going on each and every day. And they think, you know what? I can make some cash here. We could get out of robot slavery if we go see Prakesh, the bookie. So the frames show up. Beep, bop, beep. Would like to make a bet on Guardian Games. Prakesh says, Well, I only accept chips. And how you have to get chips is you got to go get the bounties. Before you get the bounties, you have to go and get the chipsets. You can get the chipsets by defeating enemies in the world. Chipsets are used to buy the bounties. Will then give you the chips. Then you come back to me. You pop the chips in here, and I'll place a bet for you. The robot, without saying a word, slowly turned, walked away, muttered, "Fuck you." See you next time, kids. Bye-bye.
Until next week, fuck you. Stand by for a raid.